big talking point as far as the AA, the Automobile Association, is concerned, calling for an urgent inquiry by Parliament into the Road Traffic Management Corporation. It's bringing to the conversation now AA spokesperson Layton Beard. Layton, you're ordinarily talking to us about the fuel prices, etc., but today's a very serious discussion. Tell me why the AA is doing this.
Good morning to you, Gareth. I mean, there are a number of reasons why we feel a parliamentary inquiry is necessary. I think chief amongst those is the fact that the core mandate of the Road Traffic Management Corporation is promoting road safety in South Africa. And when we look at the number of fatalities over the past 5-10 years, there hasn't been any significant decrease in those numbers. There's also not been any significant decrease in the number of crashes over that period. And when we look at, for instance, the latest legislation asking for an increase to the Road Traffic Management Corporation fees, we have to ask ourselves, but if they are getting more money, why is our road traffic situation not vastly improved? And then we dig a little bit deeper and we see, but the executive salaries are exorbitant in our view. I mean, the chief executive officer is earning almost 10 million rand a year last year in 2020. And we see that there is this issue around transaction fees, which the chairman of the RTMC says is absolutely necessary to keep the operations of the RTMC going. Yeah. While there are 400 million rand in grants that is given to the RTMC, which leaves us to ask, but why is the chairman of the RTMC making a false statement in an annual report? These are just some of the issues, Gareth. There are many more. We're very concerned about what's happening at the RTMC, and we think a public inquiry is necessary.
Some are going to ask, Layton, as far as the parliamentary inquiry is concerned, are there not steps to go through first before going all the way to Parliament?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, one of the steps that has already been gone through is the fact that the Auditor General has found that management at the RTMC is not doing its job properly, yet we still see these salaries. So, you know, in our view, the Department of Transport or the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport has every right to intervene and to ask questions about what's going on at the RTMC. And I think for us, that's the first step. Let the Parliamentary Committee intervene, let them ask the questions, and if they feel that there is some irregularity going on there and the corporation isn't doing its job properly, then certainly they can take it further. But let's get the ball rolling on this. Let's not be weighed down by process. There is a Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport, and this falls directly within their ambit. So we feel that this is absolutely necessary.
Would it be fair to suggest then, Layton, that the kind of numbers that you and I are talking about here as well, that the RTMC should be a well-oiled machine? It should be able to function and be very agile and mobile, but it seems there is money, but it's not going to the right places, and that's why we're having issues with the RTMC. Is my very broad analysis correct?
100% correct, Gareth. I think, you know, we look to the RTMC as the lead agency on road safety in South Africa. When we look at the fatality numbers over the festive season periods, there is very little change. If there is any change downward, it's very nominal. We missed the targets to reduce road fatalities by half by 2020. There's new targets to reduce the fatalities by half by 2030. That's not a South African target. By the way, that's a global target. You know, the 50 by 30 campaign. We will not achieve that unless we have some significant intervention in terms of road safety in South Africa. We are not seeing enough road safety education. We are not seeing enough road safety promotion in South Africa. We're not seeing those numbers coming down. And hey, by the way, road safety has a huge impact on the road accident fund because of our reliance on that fund. We're paying, you know, almost R2.70 a litre in taxes to the RAF. So it's a whole cycle of things. We need a well-oiled machine like the RTMC to get road safety going and to make sure that you know, these messages are communicated properly. We are not seeing that at the moment, and we are seeing other things like the RTMC saying, "Give us more money when you renew your licenses," and we are very worried about that.
Layton, time against me. Perhaps last question to you on this. As far as urgency is concerned, we're heading into what could be the end of October. We're going to go to November, December, traffic volumes going up, people going on holiday. I can imagine the kind of urgency that you want this to be dealt with.
Look, I think, Gareth, the sooner this is dealt with, the better. I think it's in the interests of all South Africans that the RTMC functions properly and that everybody at that corporation knows what their job is and what their mandate is. So it has to happen sooner rather than later. And we appeal to Parliament to get this thing off the ground really quickly.
Because sadly, Layton, you and I are going to speak again later in the year, I know it, about the tragedies on our country's roads. Let's hope this happens as quickly as possible. Layton Beard, always a pleasure, AA spokesperson, joining us here on the South African Morning.